Welcome once again to another edition of Quoth the Raven, Lewis Bright Raven. I'm your host, Lewis Bright Raven, 29-year veteran writer, illustrator, and editor of comics, science fiction, fantasy, horror, and role-playing games. It is a Thursday night, and we are changed for season 4, so I do my comic reviews on Thursdays, the day after our comic ship day during the week. So we'll be doing some reviews of what I got this week. And we're also going to talk about all the cool stuff I got in the mail from crowdfunding that I haven't gotten around to reading yet because I've just gotten the stuff. And also stuff I bought elsewhere outside of the comic shop and around town the last week or so. We haven't gotten around to reading, but we'll get to them all. But it's been an interesting week. Wasn't expecting stuff I got all at once. Reason I'm wearing a hoodie today. Normally I don't wear hoodies on show. One of the things I got for crowdfunding this week was a T-shirt, and so I'm covering up the T-shirt until it's time to reveal it. So you can stick around and wait for that reveal if nothing else if you're interested. But let's go ahead and get into our reviews for the week. And let's start with Beast Hunting Battle Badgers hardcover, Volume 1. It collects issues number 1 through 6 and extras. It is 75 pounds or 48 pounds US, $48 rather US. The publisher, writer, illustrator is Steve Sims. I did interview Steve back in last week about the book here on the show, and if you want to catch up on that, the link to that is in the description below on the screen. Below the screen, in the description of what books I was going to be reviewing. So anyway, it's a fantasy genre, and it was released in late August of 2021. I got it in the mail about 2 weeks ago, I guess, maybe 3 weeks. No, about 2 weeks, I guess, right after, right around Labor Day. Anyway, what it's about. This is the major adventure of two brother badgers, Flint and Laird, whose tribe has been captured and absorbed by an evil entity known as the Shriek. As they travel around their world as mercenary beast hunters trying to find a means to rescue their people. As they come into a town starving from traveling for many miles, they try to pilfer some food, but it goes bad, and even though a dragon attacks and the Badger brothers save the town from this attack, they are arrested and taken to a battle arena. During they're being taken to the arena by Wagon, they meet an old friend of their tribe's mage, a tortoise wizard named Lawson. Together, the trio defeat a troll that they are forced to face and escape the arena. Lawson agrees to help the Badgers find the Shriek out of friendship and loyalty to the tribe. The trio continue to have myriad adventures on their journey, find another wizard who helps them give them important information, and eventually they confront the Shriek, who is aided by a giant night beast. Will they defeat the evil forces, or will they fall to the powers of darkness? Sorry, no spoilers here. What I think of this book is it's an excellent work, and that fans of fantasies, Dungeons and Dragons, and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles will absolutely love this book. I think the characters are well defined, and the story is a great climactic sequence. There are a couple of minor plot flaws in the story, things that made me go, but nothing that would spoil the enjoyment of the story. There is one misspelled word in the text of the story. It's spelled strength. It says strength. And given that this is a collected volume, I do wish that someone who had bought singles before this was released in trade collection had noticed the mistake and made a note to this to Steve, because it's likely that mistake was there in the single issue as well, and it should have been caught and corrected. But other than that, that was like the only real thing that I was like, oh, and even that didn't spoil my enjoyment of the book. It was just like just a twinge, like, oh. But things like that happen, unfortunately. The creator, again, Steve Sims, is clearly a major Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan, as both Laird and Lawson are named after TMT co-creator Peter Laird and the popular Turtles artist Jim Lawson, who also wrote an intro for the collected volume here. Again, for more on Steve, check out the interview I did with him last week and see the video in the link to that video in this video's description below. This is a very strong work. It stands a good chance of being one of my top titles of 2021 at the end of the year. I recommend it for ages 10 and up, and I give it 4.5 stars. Here is this nice, thick, hardcover book. Whoops, do it that way. Go, you can read it. Very nicely done, very nicely crafted. Here's the back side. Here's the badgers, the night beast and the shrieker above them, and below the tortoise with the hat is Lawson. Here's some of the interior art. It is a black and white book with nice gray tone shading in it. More battle scenes. The Shriek commanding other people to have fights with them while they try to get to the Shriek. John Norris is here, says good evening. Good evening, John. Good to see you as always. Hope you're doing well. And here are some of the page layout extras in the back of the book that Steve included in the back end in his sketchbooks. And if you watch the video from the interview, he shows you that he actually sketched all the pages from the story in his sketchbooks and then drew them again. So you can see his sort of his craftsmanship, his work process during the video of the interview as well. So make sure you check that out. Again, 4.5 stars for Battle Badgers. Okay. Our next book is Bermuda #3. $4.99. Publisher is IDW Publishing. Writer is John Layman. Artist is Nick Bradshaw. Colors by Len O'Grady. Lettered by John Layman. The genre is action fantasy adventure. Released September 15th, 2021. And what it's about. John Norris Steve's art for Battle Badgers looks great. Yes, it does. It's awesome stuff. What it's about for Bermuda #3. Bermuda, that is the redheaded character here on the cover. Bobby and Dr. Nakamura pass through the spider forest where Bobby attracts the attentions of a giant spider that Bermuda must subdue, which you can see the nice spider, big gold spider there. The fight distracts her long enough for Dr. Nakamura to be captured off-panel by the U.S. Navy, specifically Nakamura's old regiment from the 1960s, I think it's the 1960s, who were stranded on the island decades ago. Bermuda and Bobby now have to rescue Naka, while Bermuda wants to fight the Navy people and get Naka out that way. Bobby rushes in and tries to negotiate a peace because he wants the naval tribe's help in rescuing his sister from the mare. For those of you who don't remember the story before this issue, or you forgot, or you're new to this book, the mare are an aquatic sort of alien type race that are native to this island, and they look like the creature from the Black Lagoon. And they captured Bobby's sister in issue #1 and plan to sacrifice her to their gods to open a portal between this plane of existence and our world. Anyway, Bobby and Nakamura have almost talked the naval tribe into an agreement when Bermuda swoops down and takes out everyone, presumably because she thought it was a distraction that they were planning and that was the whole plan all along, or because she doesn't think she needs the naval tribe's help, probably a little bit of both. The trio quickly flee the naval tribe's campsite area because the spiders who follow Bermuda and friends from the forest are now there and let the naval tribe fight them off, and while we go do what we got to go do. They make their way to the mayor's conclave or area where they're doing the sacrifice, and they find that they're already in the middle of opening the portal and that Bobby's sister is already placed in the middle awaiting a sacrifice. What nobody realizes, though, is that Bobby's father is trying to use his science to open the same portal from our side, and his dual attempt from each side may cause real chaos. What do I think of this? Well, it's a very solid third issue. It's one of the few times where the book in the middle of the story, it still gives the reader everything they need to know about what's going on while still moving forward with the plot. Most of the time, with comics these days, if you come into a series in media res in the middle of the story, the reader is easily lost. This is easily followable as a standalone issue. So kudos to Lehman and Bradshaw for that. The story of Nakamura's origins on the island and the introduction of the Navy tribe was very well done. The characterizations of the crew and how they treat Naka, whom they consider to be a deserter and traitor to them, also reflect the racial tensions of the era towards Asian Americans and how that stigma remained over the decades. Not only demonstrates the toxic masculinity of the naval crew and the captain, but also subtly reminds readers that the tension still exists there today without hammering you over the head like so many other writers, particularly black authors in comics, are doing in the comic scene today. I believe this is only a 4-issue miniseries, so the next issue is going to be wrapping everything up, and it's going to be quite the thing to see. For ages 12 and up, I give it 4.5 stars. And here is the book. And we'll go ahead and take some cool stuff here. This is the beginning. As you can see, they're kind of this is the naval crew. They're on the underground sub. They take it down low, deep, and they have this giant octopus that attacks them. And then there's a giant meg that eats the giant octopus, which lets them get their ship escaped, but it's wrecks their ship, and that's where they crash land on the island. And then they go straight forward, and that's Nakamura on, there in the middle left panel. And if you see a top panel here, the guy with the gray hair is that same character, so you can see how many years have passed, basically. At least 40 years have passed while they're from that point when this occurs. They give us that. So I'm figuring if it's modern times, now it'd be the 60s or maybe the early 70s. But and there's the giant spider again. Of course, Bradshaw's work is very nice, always clean, clear and concise. The colors by Leno Grady are very well done. Here's where Bobby goes to try and negotiate with the other elder naval people. And here's where the mayor are trying to open the portal with Bobby's sister trapped in the center. So, pretty cool book. Like I said, I gave it 4.5. So let's go ahead and go on to our next book, which is Beyond the Breach #3. $4.99 from Aftershock Comics. Writer Ed Brisson, artist Damian Calciero, color by Patricio Del Peque, letterer Hassan Asmane El Hau, Genre, science fiction, supernatural horror, released September 15th, 2021. Well, it's about the interdimensional bounty hunters after Samuel. That's the wizard-looking guy with the sword in purple in the bottom right corner of the cover there. They attack the human survivors, but they get killed and driven back for their troubles by Samuel and some of the others. Vanessa, that's the blonde in the bottom left corner, continues to lie to the child Dougie, that's the one that she's holding hands with there in the bottom left corner, about his dead parents who died in issue number 1. The survivor group leader tells her that this needs to stop and that he needs to know the truth so that he can start to grieve and cope with the loss. And the longer that she waits to tell him, the worse it will be for everyone. That Dougie will lose all faith and trust in her the longer that she, delays telling him this. She agrees, but she just can't bring herself to tell him yet. Samuel warns that more mercenaries will be coming after him, so Vanessa, Sam, and Dougie head off north on Samuel's super turtle on a path to Twin Falls, Iowa, because that's supposedly where Dougie's grandparents are from. And remember, the story is taking place in California, so we're talking thousands of miles away, and that presumably the entire world has shifted to this new dimensional thing. So, who's to say that they can ever even reach Iowa, and who's to say that Dougie's family will be there, or if they are there, they're even alive when they get there. Well, it's kind of a weird quirk to the plot there, in my opinion, but whatever. So the trio set out, but they're not that far along their trip up the northern California coast. They come across a mass of corpses of blue-skinned giants, and Samuel breaks down and is beside himself. And when Vanessa asks why, he proclaims that he killed them, and that's the end of the issue for this turnaround. My thoughts are, at least the story seems to be getting stronger with each passing issue, and that's the only thing that's keeping my interest intact. I do wish that the writer would keep the plot moving. It's just kind of slow and meh to me because of that. But get more to it. Anyway, it's for mature readers because of language and violence. I give it 3 stars out of 5. We'll take a quick look at the art. And there's the cover again. Again, I apologize for some of the reflection. Dougie had a concussion. Hadn't woke up yet in the early things. This is where they're arguing. The mercenaries are telling him, turn over Samuel and we'll let the rest of you live. And Samuel's like, no, they won't. They'll kill everybody. If you want to live, do what I tell you, type thing. And they're having an argument. And of course, they start shooting and killing guys in there. So Samuel runs out and wipes out the bad guys. And once that's done, that's when they decide, well, okay, we better flee, and that's that for a while. As they run away, Samuel feeds his giant turtle, give him some water. And Vanessa asks, well, is what they said true? Did you really kill a bunch of people? Not in the way they put it, but in a way, yes, is the answer, more or less. But anyway, Dougie wakes up and Vanessa checks in with him, and they decide that they're going to go forward. And that's when she tells him, no, we'll find your parents. They're just, not dead yet, but, whatever. And then, like I said, to the closing thing, they find these giant blue humanoids. And he says, I killed them. I don't know if he really did or not. These might be the people from the other dimension that he tried to help uh, rescue, escape from that dimension or whatever, and they got killed in the process of the transition or something, maybe. But that doesn't necessarily mean he killed them. We'll have to see how that pans out. Our next story, next review, is CAMPISI, The Dragon Incident, number 2, $4.99. Publishers Aftershock Comics, writer James Patrick. Ours is Marco Locati, with cover by Fran Galan and letters by Rachel Deering. The genre is postmodern fantasy, released September 15th, 2021. And what it's about: some Sonny Campisi is a mob fixer in the Green Village, and he asks him to try to negotiate peace with a living dragon who wants vengeance for his race being all but extinguished centuries before. At first, he tries to find the ancestor of the bloodline that the dragon wants vengeance upon, but that doesn't go well. Well, it doesn't go well at all, because the person he's looking for is protected by his own boss. And he takes a beating from others just for learning that small bit of information. So now what is he going to do? Well, what I think about this issue is it's a respectable middle issue. It has a decent enough reveal and cliffhanger. It doesn't quite stand alone on its own merits, and I think you do need to have to read issue number 1 to understand what's going on. But the story should be interesting moving forward, because essentially the next issue, what is about to happen is the government's going to come in and try to take out the dragon, leaving Sonny in a bit of a predicament between protecting the dragon and the innocents within Green Village, both, if there are any such beings, as Sonny may come to learn. How is he going to fix this? That's recommended for ages 16 and up, 4 stars out of 5. And here is the book. The art is, kind of, the colors are kind of blah, I guess. It's all very uniform in that regard. I wish there was a little bit more diversity in color tone, because, it's all pinks and oranges and purples and stuff, but it's still readable visually. It's consistent. That's where he finds out that the person he's looking for is actually protected, and the people he thought he was looking for, he was not happy with the situation, because he didn't want to ask them, because they just lost their father to the dragon, or to his boss, rather. His boss demanded an execution for not paying mob taxes. So the rest of the family's beating up him over that once they give him the information that he wants. But here's the next cover for next issue, and here's that dragon. And as you can see, here comes the heavy artillery. Should be quite interesting. Our next book is Clan of BELARI number 3, I believe. Yes, Clan of BELARI number 3. $4.99. Publisher Aftershock Comics. Writers Peter and Rob Blackie, with art by Daniel Main, colors by Carlos Lopez. The letterer is Taylor Esposito, with a cover by Andy Clark and Jose Villarrubia. Genre science fiction, released September 15th, 2021. What it's about: it seems as though several years have passed since issue 2, to me anyway, as I'm reading this. Tia is has earned her piloting license, but goes on a suicide mission to rescue some miners, defying her clan boss's orders. Of course, she succeeds, and while her ship is damaged badly, the clan boss is super pissed off. She is savvy enough to negotiate with her boss so that it makes everyone look good and avoid punishment for her actions. Meanwhile, or so she thinks anyway. Meanwhile, the rogue leader from issue 2, sorry for getting his name at the time of the writing of this review, who vows to put an end to the clans and possibly declare war on everyone, is slowly gathering pieces of a weapon and comes across an alien ship. All he needs now is an ace pilot that the pilot clan is angry enough at to get rid of. Oh boy, we can see where this is going. Taya returns home to her adopted father Gummy for a visit. Suddenly, one of the rogue faction's representatives arrives. Gummy thinks it's time for him to pay the piper for his crimes and his negotiations to get Taya into the piloting clan. But when they call for Taya instead, He says, oh, hell no. He tries to intervene, gets knocked out, and when he comes to, both Taya and the rep are gone. The rep wasn't smart enough to kill him, though, so of course Gummy is going to track his adopted daughter and try to get her back. My favorite part of this book is the cover. It's a good overall issue, but there are too many cut scenes that make the reader have to draw conclusions as to what's going on. The book did need a little bit better pacing. It's recommended for ages 13 and up. I give it 3.5 stars. And here's the book. This is Taya taking the ship into the mining operation. There's a bunch of miners. The asteroid collapsed and started breaking apart, and the miners are trapped in outer space, and she has to go through the mine field or the asteroid field to try and get to the miners and get them on board and get them out. And of course, her ship is pretty trashed, as you can see, with the damage on it. That costs, billions of dollars to fix or whatever. And the clan boss is here telling her, why shouldn't I just throw you to the wolves? And she's telling her why and what you could do. And of course, the clan boss buys it, but she's not happy about it. But she goes, okay, she goes along with it. That's where the rogue guy finds the ship buried in the ice. And this is where Taya and Gummy are talking, and the guy comes down, and he's like, oh, okay. It's time for you to give reciprocation for what we need, for what we did for you as favors. And that's when he says, oh, no, we're taking the girl. And that's not happening. So as you can see, a little bit of a blackout. He just got hit once, knocked him out cold. Blackout for just a panel, and then he's waking up with a bloody nose, and he gets his gear because he knows that they're gone. So it's fine. Some of the more jarring sequences were in the beginning of the issue more so than at the end, but that point right there where we see he get knocked out and he wakes up. We had to assume that Taya either fought and struggled and got captured and dragged off, or whatever the case might be. But we don't see it happening. We have to assume that it happened. Okay, our next book is Deep Beyond, number 8 of 12, $3.99 from publisher Image Comics. Writers Mirka Andolfo and David Goy. Artist Andrea Brocardo. Colors by Barbara Nocenzo. I did find out who the letterer was for this series. It's Maurizio Clausi. The genre is science fiction. September 15th, 2021 was when it was released. And when it's about the remaining humans escape from the other dimension back to our Earth, only to have one of their own kill the one person who has all the so-called answers to everything that's been going on. It's a semi-okay issue. But you wouldn't have any clue what the hell's going on if you just picked this up for the first time based on the cover. And this is why part of comic sales, the singles, are unsustainable because, and you see each issue losing readership is because of stuff like this. You pick up an issue in the middle of a story, you can't figure out what's going on, you're not happy with it, you don't buy any more. This is the regular cover. I somehow did not get this cover. I got the alternate cover, which is this. Anyway, the story is rather hard to follow because I really don't remember the earlier issues all that well. So trying to keep up with who is who and what everyone's different agendas may or may not be annoyed me. And so my score for this issue is considerably lower than what the book has been getting. But you have to make each issue strong enough to either stand alone on its own merits or enough to make the reader want the back issues. And this issue, unfortunately, achieves neither of those goals. This is a considerable drop off from the previous issue, which is saying quite a lot because last issue was almost entirely an info dump issue, while this is all action, and it demonstrates how poorly the story is being paced, in my opinion. Again, I'm not sure how I wound up with the B cover. Maybe I pre-ordered it that way, or maybe the store that just thought it was the cooler of the two covers and gave me this cover instead. I don't know. Unfortunately, neither cover really has anything to do with the story either. Thumbs down, boo, on that as well. Recommended for ages 16 up. I give this one only a 2.5 star, and I had been giving it 3.5 to 4 stars. So that tells you how much of a drop off this issue is, unfortunately. Again, it is action paced. They escape their people, and they're in this holding cube that's being pushed around by a some sort of vehicle. They get chased and shot at by other ones. They manage to escape that. They push through a bunch of other mecha armored creatures as they try to get to that triangular portal that you can see in the recessive background in the second panel on the left. And they get to a certain spot, and then people are asking questions, and the guy's saying, I have the answers, but we don't have time. We have to get out of here. I'll explain it to you when we're safe. And, of course, once they're safe, one of their own just, boom, right in the head. So, not a lot of story there, really. And that's part of why I got a little bit annoyed with it. Because if you were reading this for the first time, all the characters don't know what's going on, so the reader doesn't know what's going on, and you're waiting for the payoff to be told what's going on, and the person that's going to tell you what's going on gets shot at the very end, and you're a new reader, that's going to tick you off. Not good pacing of the story, especially when you gave a full info dump issue last issue. So that's why I got the lower score. Our last review of the night is USAGI YOJIMBO 22, $3.99. Recommended for ages 10 and up. It is a 5-star book because USAGI YOJIMBO is always a 5-star book. Stan Sakai art, colors by Hi-Fi Design, genre anthropomorphic samurai adventure, released September 15th, 2021. What it's about: Usagi and his nephew Yukichi have left Lord Haikiji's province, and their troubles are behind them, or so they think. They meet up with Kitsune, the street performer thief, who brings in her own troubles. Kitsune has stolen a ledger, recording bribes by a gang leader to local politicians. Usagi wants to turn it over to the area magistrate, but Kitsune wants to sell it back to the mob leader. However, both plans change when Kitsune's protege, Kyoko, is kidnapped. As I say, you know what I think, the usual awesomeness. I swear that Stan Sakai should have The Miz introduce him every time he appears on TV, anytime he goes to a convention. Ladies and gentlemen, the awesome one, Stan Sakai. That's the way it should be always introduced, and that is the way it will be if I have my way. Good old Usagi, you're damn right. Do I really need to show this? Yes, I do always need to show Usagi off, because Usagi is one of the best comic books ever produced. And this is part 1, Ransom. And they're out of there. I just love the visual designs for the new character. the nephew is becoming a very popular character. His first appearance was a few issues ago. That book is selling massive over price. I think it's going for as high as $200, $300 for that issue now, for like issue 19, whereas his nephew or cousin makes his first appearance in the storyline. Mm-hmm. There's Kitsune and Hyoko. Mm-hmm. So anyway, I do enjoy these as always. Anyway, they're battling the mob, and basically they're saying, "Give us the book, or else she dies." So they have until dawn to get the book, and that's how that ends. Now, that is all my stuff that I'm reviewing tonight, but I've got a lot of stuff this week on top of all that. Oh, yes. Let's start with the reveal. I got a t-shirt from Patrick Thomas Purnell, who does Johnny Phantasm. A little t-shirt called New Detroit Pro Wrestling Phantasm Club. Let me stand up here a little bit so you can see the whole shirt from Riot Press. Got this for $20. And yes, it is kind of a knockoff on the very popular Bullet Club design from Japan Pro Wrestling and other wrestling factions. So it's not the most original thing, but $20 versus their $60 for the Bullet Club. I'll take the $20 shirt. And I do like Johnny Phantasm, so it's okay. I know some people are going to go, "Oh, he's a CG guy." I don't care. I'm tired of that nonsense of, are you CG, are you not CG? If you like something, support it. If you don't like the person or you don't like the product, don't support it. It's that simple. Now, I got a whole bunch of other stuff. We got Monkeys Fighting Robots, Summer 2021 edition. And I just got a bunch of stuff blown away at me from my fans, so I got to pick them up. Just give me a second. There we go. This is the new magazine. I haven't actually had a chance to even open this up and look at it yet. I just got it yesterday. With it came a beer koozie thing, Monkey Fighting Robots. Kind of a cool thing there. There was a sticker with it, Team Monkey. Looks more like Team Baboon or Team Beastman from Masters Universe to me, but okay. And then they have a Kickstarter postcard for the next one. I think, yeah, winter 2021, and that launches on November 1st. So hopefully when that comes out, I'll have the guys come on and we'll talk about that when it's time to promote that. So that was one thing I got. I also got Brian Rodman presents The Nebulizer, #1. I did read it. I was so tired I forgot to write down my thoughts when I read it, so I'll review this as well as Monkey and Robots. All the stuff that you see I'm about to do with the with the unveiling here, I'm going to review on Monday. So be back on Monday for that. From Black Eye Books, let's see what we got here. Okay, we got a book called Paranormal Death Strikes at Midnight. The Complete Trilogy by Dan Christensen in trade paperback. And then there's a little ash can type comic called Blackjack included, called The Delivery as well. So those are there as well. I got that today in the mail. And I got this a couple weeks ago, but I hadn't actually opened it. And that is Mercury Mouse, which is kind of like a version of Mighty Mouse, in my opinion, but, you know, whatever. It's cool. Let's see what we got here. We have 3 issues. No One Stops the Carp King. Look out, Mercury Mouse. And the Rubber Band Chameleon. This looks fun. I'm going to have a fun time reading and reviewing this. They're all autographed by the creator, Jerry Rains. There's also a little circle sticker and a trading card, 2 trading cards, one of Mercury Mouse and one of the Carp King. I'll take those out in just a second. And I got this a while ago, but I just hadn't taken it out of the box. But there's Carp King and Mercury Mouse. And he did a really nice job. He got the really nice. When I first saw these, I thought they were magnets because he put them in nice trading card holders with the nice heavy black backing. I want to show you what's on the back of the trading card there. You see, Harvey's secret superhero identity and the heroic figure of Mousetropolis. Mercury Mouse is an inspiration to many mice for his generosity and good deeds. Although many look up to him, not much is known about the origins of this superhero, mysterious hero. It's hard to get it to come into clarity with the camera, and I apologize for that, but pretty cool stuff. I'm very happy with it. And of course, the Carp King has a similar backstory. When there's something fishing going on in Mousetropolis, it's got to be the Carp King. And it's funny that he calls him the Carp King because, I mean, this is an all ages book. Supposed to be for 8 and up. And, the Carp King, you invert the letters and you got, it's the Crap King. Oh, no. Oh, well, Let me get this back in the bag here. For some reason, he doesn't want to. There we go. All righty. So that is pretty much all my stuff that I got in the mail in the last few days, which is still quite a bit. But I didn't stop there, folks. Let's see. John Moore says Mercury Mouse looks cool. Hopefully, it will be as fun to read as it looks. I'm pretty sure it will. I'm hoping to get Jerry Rains on the show to talk about the book as well down the road, but we'll see. But I also went to Ollie's bargain outlet center, and because people were telling me, you got to get the books, you got to get the books, you got to get the books, the comics that are there. And I'm like, okay, I'll go look. I have bought stuff from Ollie's before. They usually have good deals, but it's a matter of finding something I actually want. Well, one thing I found, people have been bugging me to read this series forever, telling me how much I'm missing out. So I got Bill Willingham's Fables, Deluxe Edition, Book One. I don't know if you guys can read that on there. It says $5.99 on the sticker. I want you guys to see what it says on the back if I can get it close enough. $29.99 cover price, $5.99 sticker price. I got it for 50% off the sticker price. Sad, right? Sad. So for $3, even if I hate it, I'm not going to say much about it. I will get around to reading this. Chances are, I'm going to be honest with people, I'm really not into this thing, but I'll read it. Unless it completely just blows my mind. I don't think it will. But if it does, I'll keep it. But if it doesn't, I'll donate it to my local library for the trades, for their graphic novels collection. Other books I got are Suicide Squad Rogues. This is reprinting the John Ostrander run, issues 17 to 25 in annual 1 of the series. And then Apocalypse Now. And that collects 31 through 39. So I'm going to go ahead and read these. And I guess I hope there's another storyline that collects 26 to 30. I mean, that would be kind of stupid to have, not collect, skip 6 issues in between arcs and not collect those. I don't know. That's kind of weird. But who knows? I don't. I got those. And lastly, I got Vigilante by Marv Wolfman. And this has a lot of different artists in here. It collects the new Teen Titans Annual number 2 and Vigilante 1 through 11. This is another $29.99 book that I got for like $5. I can't argue with that. Apparently, there was a bookmark in the middle of it. And it has nothing to do with DC or anything else. It's kind of a dumb thing. I'm not even going to worry about it. But okay, that's something new I hadn't expected. I don't know who all does the artwork in here. I know Perez does the Teen Titans stuff, but let's see who else is in here. It's Keith Pollard who does most of the artwork. For the first 4 issues, it's Keith Pollard. Issue 5 was Ed Hannigan with Dick Giordano. Number 6 is Ross Andrew with Dick Giordano. Number 7 is Ross Andrew with Mike DiCarlo. Then it's Ross Andrew with a bunch of different inkers, basically. Okay, cool. So we got good artists all the way through on this. So should be a good read. Looking forward to reading that this weekend. And that concludes all my cool stuff this week. Got quite a bit, as you can tell. And I got more stuff coming in the mail. I got tons of stuff coming in the mail. It's like every time I turn around, I'm getting notices in my mailbox to either type up, the final kit backer stuff, or make sure all the stuff for mailing information is accurate so it can be sent. So I got like another 6 or 7 items coming in the next few weeks, probably. But let's see. Tomorrow show will be reviewing the new Twilight Zone, hosted by Jordan Peele. Seasons 1 and 2. This is just the season 1 DVD I borrowed from the library. I'll be reviewing seasons 1 and 2. And that'll be tomorrow evening. And so that's what's going on for the rest of this week. So if you enjoyed this video, or you think others might, please hit the like, share, and subscribe buttons to continue to get content from this channel. As always, I thank you for watching and thank you for your support. You can catch me on Facebook at Lewis.BrightRaven, at Twitter at LewisBrightRave2. You can see some of my artwork at deviantart.com/BrightRaven. You're watching Quoth the Raven, Lewis BrightRaven, exclusively on YouTube. If you have questions or suggestions about topics you might want me to talk about, you want to commission me for some artwork, something like that, reach out to me at quoththeravenlbr72@gmail.com, and I'll try to get back to you, either answer your questions live on air or via email. But if for some reason I don't get back to you, try lewisbrightraven@yahoo.com. I'll be back tomorrow with talk about Twilight Zone. Until then, whoops. Until then, we'll see you next time. Have a good weekend.